Forgiveness isn't just for your personal life. No. Forgiveness is a powerful tool that you can use in business. It will foster great leadership, team development, and accountability. If you want to know more about how you can bring forgiveness into your organization and really amplify your results, then stick around for this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence with my guest, Alicia J. Alexander. Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win Women TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams despite your feelings, fears, or past failures, to imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve. Welcome to this episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win-Win Women TV. And if you have been enjoying the International Women's Day Summit, we've had some amazing speakers. And if you haven't yet signed up, it's not too late. You can go to internationalwomensday.org and sign up and use the code Alicia to get your tickets for free to come on in. And for those of you who are watching us on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, thank you so much for joining us on our YouTube channel. And I'm so excited to bring this content to you. We're always looking to help you elevate, whether it's in work, in life, or in fun. And so like, subscribe, and share this out with a friend. Today's topic, we're going to talk about forgiveness. And we've talked about forgiveness before on this show from a personal standpoint, what it does for us personally. But today we want to focus on forgiveness in the workplace because we carry our baggage with us. And if we don't learn how to forgive, it bleeds over into our work life. And we want to talk about forgiveness and how it can really amplify the work that we do when we operate from a place of forgiveness. So my guest today is Alicia J. Alexander. And yes, you're going to hear Alicia back and forth. But welcome to the show, Alicia. She is a professional consultant, and she is going to share with us the power of forgiveness in the workplace. So if you can take off your camera and join us, that would be excellent. There you are. Hi. I am so excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me, Alicia.
Yeah, so Make a Difference Consulting is your company, and we're going to talk about forgiveness. You are an author. You wrote in a book on forgiveness. You wrote a chapter in a book on forgiveness. And first of all, tell me how that experience has been writing that chapter for you personally.
Oh, wow. Thank you for this opportunity. Yes, writing the book, the chapter is chapter 14, and it's the power to forgive through faith. Even that was a miracle of God because I submitted it as the power to forgive, and the editors added through faith.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased with that. The entire experience was less than 2 months. And being able to share on this topic is really cleansing for the soul, which is the mind, will, and emotions. And it just helped me to understand the power of forgiveness, as the chapter is titled.
Nice. So when it comes to forgiveness in your own personal life, I know that it's very powerful,
Yes.
but as a consultant, When you bring this tool into organizations, how does this really impact organizational level when you operate in forgiveness?
When you operate in forgiveness, what happens is that co-workers come to a place of accepting one another for who they are, not
Mm,
what they wish them to be, but truly who they are. It provides an opportunity for one to understand themselves as well as those that are in this close circle of influence.
mm.
So it just it opens the line of communications in a way that provides for understanding.
Nice. Yeah. So communication, it opens the door to communication and understanding. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Exactly does forgiveness work like that with coworkers? Are you talking about forgiving the coworker, or are you talking about walking your own journey of forgiveness of stuff that's happening in your personal life and how that's impacting you when you walk into work? Elaborate a little bit for me.
You know, in the workplace, there's all kinds of people and all kinds of backgrounds. So forgiveness is something that one will heal yourself and provide clarity for yourself, as well as those who are in your circle of influence, who you interact with on a daily basis. Once you can get rid of the anger and resentment and hurt, you're
Mhm.
a free person.
Mm.
It
All
makes
right.
it,
Before you go on,
mm,
that's big because the anger, the resentment, and the hurt that you're feeling. So let's say I'm a leader, I'm leading a team, and I come into work and I have this undercurrent of
mhm,
anger
mhm,
and hurt,
mhm.
and I'm walking into work. How does that impact the team that I am leading?
Well, honestly, that's why we have stress, strained, or toxic work environments,
Hmm.
because they're denying what they've gone through, the experience they've endured that has them feeling angry, feeling disappointed, feeling resentful, and they're trying to conduct business as if nothing ever happened.
Mm,
You wonder
right,
why sometimes people snap. I didn't do anything to that person.
right.
Of course, you didn't do anything to that person, but you don't know their background. You don't know what they've endured.
Right. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly. So, and I just want to put this out there. I know that you do have an eye that tears up, so every now and then you're going to wipe it. And I just, just in case people are wondering, but I just want to let them know it's fine. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm
You're
good.
not crying.
For one
That
eye.
you have a water, yeah, you have an eye that does tear from time to time. Um, so someone that shows up angry and shows up resentful for stuff that's going on, sometimes it's buried so deep that they don't even know that they're lashing out, or it might not be a leader, it might just be a peer, a coworker to coworker, and then the leader says something and it triggers you and you
Mhm,
don't know why, and it's triggering
mhm.
you. So it does create tension and toxicity in the work environment if you don't deal with these forgiveness issues,
Yes.
or the unforgiveness issues in your life, in your everyday life. Um, could you share with us a story of maybe a client or someone that you know that has gone through that process so someone can really identify the before and after, like what that looks like, before and then after, when you walk into a work environment with unforgiveness, and then you walk through the process that you share in your book, and that you also work with clients on, and walk through that process, and then what does that look like on the other side of it?
Sure, absolutely. I'm so glad to do this. I know of a situation where it's a female, an older female, and something had damaged her as a youth, and she has a scar. So the scar makes her feel uncomfortable at times.
Mm-hmm.
Try as you might, as she might, um, she feels insecure at times. She has a bubbly personality, and things are going well for her in a position that she has, but that insecurity sometimes comes out as commanding instead of asking,
Mm.
telling appropriately. I know of another person that has dealt with adult issues, and sometimes communicating with that person can be toxic, for lack of a better word. But to get to know this person, I would say patience is key. And a lot of times, people who have gone through things in their lifetime, patience is key, because it could be a situation where they don't feel comfortable with different people in the same room, or individually being in the same room with someone alone. It makes them feel
Yeah.
uncomfortable. And you'll
So,
hear
so
in communication.
I just want to,
Mm-hmm.
for an example, if you went through a trauma,
Mm-hmm.
if you had a previous job where you were sexually harassed, or
Mm-hmm.
something like that happened to you, and
Mm-hmm.
then um, later on in another job, someone makes a comment
Mm-hmm.
that you automatically thinks they're harassing you, or it just triggers that memory of being
Mm-hmm.
sexually harassed and feeling, insecure now, and then that can now either close you down so that you're not being innovative or creative, or even being
Participatory.
inclusive and involved,
Mm-hmm.
and now you're avoiding, you're shutting down, you're not, and people are wondering, well, what happened, what's going on with you, or what happened? Or you
Exactly.
can become hostile, you can be like, get your like, put up your guard and be hostile toward whoever it is that made the comment, and now that person is, persona non grata. He is like, you don't want to be around that person, you don't want to talk to that person anymore. So it can really impact the space and the environment that you're in
Mm-hmm.
when something like that is not dealt with on the personal level.
Exactly.
So
Right.
you are speaking about workplace excellence and forgiveness, and using the
Exactly.
tools that you are certified in, the
Yeah.
Clifton Strengths, and to help organizations identify strengths. But because forgiveness has been something that is personal in your own life
Mm-hmm.
that you've dealt with, you've also incorporated some of that into how you are helping organizational leaders. I should
Yeah.
say, how you're helping leaders to be
Absolutely. Yes.
more, yeah. All right. So tell us, I kind of interrupted you as you were talking about these two women earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how forgiveness now has been something that has impacted in a positive way the way they show up now in business.
Allowing forgiveness to heal your soul, your mind, will, and emotions. Gives you the freedom to say that I can handle my job. I can handle interacting with another person. It opens the door to say, even if something triggers, they can take a moment, step back, and look at the reality of where they are, and then proceed.
Mm-hmm. Have you found that certain generations embrace forgiveness better than others?
I don't know if it's so much embracing it, but understanding it. I would say the more mature person understands it more and can apply it better than the young person. The young person, um, well, it depends on the person if they've encountered something,
Mm-hmm.
the trauma of that needed to be forgiven. Um, the stats right now with marriages and divorce are so high that sometimes divorced children, children of divorced parents may act out, and as adults, they may act out differently. But if they take the step to say, hey, I forgive this situation that changed my life. And usually it's a life-changing incident that we have to learn how to forgive. Once you can forgive that, then you can proceed in being healed and being able to interact with others in a kind and understanding manner.
Yeah. And the reason I asked the generational question, because from just me, I don't know the statistics on this, but when uh, Gen X, some boomers that are still in the workplace
Mhm.
might tend to, because they've gone through a lot.
Yes,
We are that generation, Gen X baby boomers, that were before the digital age. So
right.
we did a lot of things analog. We did a lot of things manually. We did hard labor. And we also endured a work environment that thrived in toxicity. It thrived in that toxic work environment. And
Mhm.
so when another generation comes up and is experiencing that toxicity, they are less tolerant of that than the
Yes.
older generations have been. And so they're standing up and saying, "No, we're not dealing with this. We're not gonna. No, my mental health is more important." And
Mhm.
so I asked that question from that perspective, that are we seeing, or in your experience, have you seen where Gen X baby boomers are less forgiving in the workplace because they've been through so much that they're
Mhm.
like, you know what, we endured it, kind of man up, a woman up, or, we pulled ourselves up by the bootstraps. Come on, you could do it. Versus the empathy and the understanding and the really doing that forgiveness work within them so that they can appreciate the
Mhm.
challenges that someone else is going through.
That's a good way to put it. Um, I'm going to say no. I'm only because as I explained, once you come through it as an older person, you have more understanding.
Hmm.
You know, a younger person will be most likely to quit or walk out or out the job. They're not going to tolerate it.
Right. They're not tolerating it. They're not tolerating the toxicity. They're prepared to work out. Gen Z, Gen Y, they're like, mm-mm, I'm not dealing with this. I'm out.
I mean, I know of a situation where um, someone was fired because they stood up for themselves.
Mm.
the millennial
A millennial was fired
riot because
for
they stood up for
standing up for themselves. Yeah, because again, even though we're talking about forgiveness, they are also very self-empowered, more so than Gen X were.
them.
And they are really saying, no, we're not tolerating that.
Hmm.
I'm not tolerating that.
Hmm.
And so when talking about forgiveness, when looking at maybe you were in a toxic environment at work, but you also have to learn to forgive. You have to go through the process, the steps
Hmm.
of forgiveness, so that you're not taking that baggage from one job to the next. So you're
Exactly.
not taking something that hurt you or that you feel uh, you were taken advantage of in this situation, and you're not bringing it with you. You're not carrying that baggage with you. So it's so important to go through the steps of forgiveness. So in the few moments that we have, do you have uh, steps that someone could follow to walk through recognizing that they need to forgive and then walk through that process of forgiveness themselves?
Um, I won't say it's steps, but being aware. I have two adult children, and I always tell the youngest one, be aware of your surroundings and be
Hmm.
aware how you're going to react in those certain surroundings. So, in the book, page 141, I have a prayer to heal to help those who have endured trauma in their youth or even in their adulthood, and are ready to be aware they have this hurt, this anger, this resentment. And it helps them to read it out loud
Hmm.
so that they can hear good words in their soul, in their
Right.
mind, their will, their emotions. Feed yourself understanding words. I for my preference of choice is going to the Bible, but if you're not one who goes to the Bible, find affirmations that will uplift you instead of causing you to feel demise.
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
because our mind does focus on the negative. So we need
Yes.
to be able to have something, have have something at the ready, have a tool at the ready. And you said page 141 in the book, so that
Yes.
it can they can go there and read through that prayer and help take their mind, like shift their mind
Mm-hmm.
off of the challenge and empower them to move forward in a
Absolutely.
very powerful way. So, you know, when you are able to shift into forgiveness, and I just want to share these three quick points, it really builds yourself as a leader. You build more powerful leadership skills because if, for instance, you react out of frustration or you react out of anger, that there's something else going on inside of you and you're reacting to this person,
Mm-hmm.
that tears down psychological safety. It tears down their ability to be creative and to be innovative. It tears down their trust in you. And
Mm-hmm.
so, as a leader, when you are operating from a place of forgiveness, even if there's not something on the undercurrent of you, but someone makes a mistake in your organization and you're not able to quickly forgive and move beyond that, that creates challenges within your organization, and it slows down productivity, it slows down production, and it really puts it puts obstacles
Mm-hmm.
to pro, um, to getting things done.
Yeah. May
This,
I share that Johnny Taylor, who is the CEO of SHRM, Society of Human Resource Management, often speaks about in workplace incivility,
Yeah.
and incivil actions that occur in the workplace. It takes a half an hour for somebody to recover from an act of incivility. And
Mm,
so if we can recognize that incivility act, addressing it from the person who's doing it versus the person who's receiving it may be different steps of actions. But if we can come to a place of one, acknowledging, and two, forgiving, and three, handling the situation so it doesn't occur again, that's most favorable for any workplace.
yeah. That's very important to understand. Takes 30 minutes or more
Mm-hmm.
because again, people will start ruminating and then they'll have to tell and then they'll start gossiping because then they have to tell somebody what this person did and then they stay in that and they could actually stay in that the entire day. And that's a whole day of productivity that's gone
Realistic.
because of one act of incivility, like you said. So, learning to forgive and really forgive and move past that quickly to get to what needs to be done is important for everyone, front line all the way up the
Mm-hmm.
chain. The
Mm-hmm.
second thing is it creates accountability without bitterness. So then now we can have people stepping up and saying, okay, I did the XYZ. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. And they know that the leader is not going to, snap their head off or drag them through the mud weeks and weeks and weeks. You know what they did? That
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a culture of forgiveness so that people can actually feel that psychological safety, but that trust to come to you and say,
Yeah.
I made a mistake. Please forgive me. I've rectified it, or these are the steps I'm looking to take to fix it. And
Mm-hmm.
then the third thing that forgiveness in the workplace really helps when you talk about operational excellence, it's operational excellence again through that psychological safety because people feel like if I make a mistake and if I mess up, it's not going to cost me my job. It's
Yeah.
not going to cost me my reputation and it's not going to cost me that everybody's going to be gossiping around me and I'm going to feel insecure walking into the building every single day. So
Yeah.
that promotes a culture of safety, a culture where people are free to innovate and push the envelope so that they can really um, create more
Mm-hmm.
and have more productivity in the workplace
When you bring up,
because of
when you brought
forgiveness.
up excellence, organizational excellence, we have the four pillars. So what you're talking about is one of the pillars of organizational excellence called neuromanagement. And the second one would be neuro leadership, being
Hmm.
able to create that environment of safety and trust and well-being and authentic
Right.
appreciation of your staff. So exactly what you're talking about, organizational excellence works.
Ex- I'm glad that you shared that. Yes. So um we have run out of time. Run out of time. I know I was talking and nobody was hearing me because I was muted, but uh I'm so appreciative that you were coming to share this with us because it is an area where people have to be aware, like you said, Alicia, they have to build their awareness of where do I have unforgiveness in my life that's bleeding into my work, that's bleeding into my attitudes at work, and causing an environment where people don't feel safe psychologically. They don't feel like they can be themselves in at work. So I thank you for sharing and allowing people to see that forgiveness is more than just a personal thing, that it can also be very beneficial in the workplace. And just share with us how people can get a copy of your book.
It's on Amazon, the book on forgiveness, and my chapter is The Power to Forgive Through Faith, chapter 14.
All right. It's on Amazon. The book Unforgiveness. That's the title. And I want to encourage you all to be bold, to be brave, and to every day do one thing to forgive so that you can step out with audacious confidence. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and share this out with a friend. If you are on our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. And I hope to see you again on the next episode every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time here on Win Win Women TV. I hope to see you next Monday on another episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. Until then, this is Alicia Corey saying goodbye for now. Mwah. Turnover. It's incredibly expensive for any organization, but especially those that are small and mid-size. If you're an organization and you're hiring, it's so important to get it right. You need to identify the right people for the right roles. Here at Audacious Concepts, Inc., we help you perfect your hiring process so you get it right every single time. Reach out to us at audaciousconceptsinc.com